Hello beautiful and welcome to makeup. I don't have a new headpiece for this video. I'm so sorry. Hello gorgeous and welcome to Water Cooler Convo Makeup, where I talk about the things that you want me to talk about, where I talk about the things that I want me to talk about, and sometimes we meet in the middle and I talk about the things that we want me to talk about while I do my makeup. And today we're just having a Q&A. Ooh, that rhymes. Today we're having a Q&A. Ah, see, I'm a lyricist. What are you talking about? I think we've hit the too much coffee threshold. I'm doing a Q&A video. I asked in community posts what questions you wanted me to answer. So I got all my questions from there. If you want to be involved in the next Q&A, watch out for the community posts. I don't know where the comment is specifically, but in some of the recent videos that I've posted, I had someone ask me if I could do like a 1950s, 40s kind of pinup look. So I've never done victory roles. I've watched about 5 tutorials, and really at that point, I'm an expert. So if I'm not able to do it now, I'm just never going to be able to. So the first question we have is from that kid, and it really depends on what teaching and learning we're talking about, because for me specifically, there's two kinds of different, well, there's more than two, but for me primarily, there is 2 different kinds of teaching and learning. So there's like the practical, and then there's the theoretical. With the theoretical stuff, that's typically the things that I teach myself in these videos, and sometimes I even just teach myself outside of videos. It's just stuff that I would find fascinating, but it's typically those kinds of things, and that genuinely just comes from I like knowing how the world around me works, and I like knowing how the people around me work. And one of the key points to being able to understand that in its entirety is understanding the history of the world and the people that I live in and with. And I hope that maybe if I educate myself enough and I learn enough, and maybe I can somehow even encourage other people to do the same thing or something similar, then there could be some sort of legitimate positive change achieved. You have to know how something works now so that you can look at how it could be improved. If it's my crafty stuff, my crafty stuff is definitely a lot different. My crafty stuff genuinely comes from a place of obsession. When I say obsession, I mean genuinely an obsession for like 2-3 weeks maximum, and then I completely forget about it. It's happened to me for years. It's happened to me for years. The amount of money that I've wasted on weird little like crafty obsessions that I've had is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I will see something on TV or in a movie or YouTube or some sort of media. TikTok is a really bad one for me now, but I'll see something like a craft or a skill and I'll become obsessed with it. I will watch so many videos on it. I'll watch so many tutorials on it, and then I will buy the supplies for it, and I will start like making stuff and testing the waters in it, and then after 2 weeks it just doesn't exist in my brain anymore and I completely forget it. And then like 6 months later I'm looking through all my supplies and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I started to embroider. So with research, I don't know, I'm just able to keep myself motivated. With crafts and skills, I'm not, unless I can constantly see them, and I don't burn myself out. But it's also how I figure out which crafty skills are ones that are a genuine passion for me. They're the ones that stick around. So makeup is, because makeup I haven't really put down as soon as I picked it up. Another one that I started that I haven't really put down was sewing. Granted, I take breaks from it, but sewing is always something that I just seem to come back to. And drawing, I'm getting better at, like with Procreate and stuff. I made a few little subscribe animation things at one point, which I really enjoyed, and I keep going back to that. But I think one of the ways that I keep going back to that is that I use that to make my thumbnails. So it's one thing that I kind of have to use constantly, but from using it constantly, I'm able to keep going back to it. So it seems to be that, like, is that graphic design? I don't know. Graphic design, we'll use that for lack of better phrasing at the moment, but graphic design, makeup and sewing seem to be the ones that I keep going back to. What is my favorite party trick I can do? I've got about 3-ish party tricks that I have. Most annoy people, but I kind of find them fun. So so my first is probably the ugliest, and it's called cockeyed. Dead fish realness. Then one that a lot of people know that I can do is the shaving cream sound. My brother taught it to me years ago, I believe. I don't know. It's just one thing that I know how to do, but it just... And then the other one is smoke alarm. Mackenzie is wondering what my hobbies are outside of YouTube, and it's really sad to say, but my life is lacking so much balance at this point, just with everything, like my life personally outside of YouTube and my life, I guess, inside of YouTube is lacking so much balance because I haven't meant to have done this. Like, I didn't mean to, but it's just kind of happened, and it's happened ever since I kind of popped off on TikTok. But that's just, no matter what thing I try to do for myself or pick up for myself and myself only, I always seem to just be like, oh, I can make a video on that. And then I make a quick, like, 10-second video, and then all of a sudden this hobby for me is no longer a hobby for me. It's a hobby for content, which, like, is fine, don't get me wrong, but also it means that I have completely forgotten how to do anything for myself and myself only. But I genuinely can't think of a hobby that I would pick up that I wouldn't eventually make a video on, or like sneak it into a video somehow because I would want to share that with you guys. Like, if I taught myself how to do a cartwheel, you better know that I'm gonna be showing you that I taught myself how to do a cartwheel, because that's very exciting, because I've never done a cartwheel in my life. Oh no, Chloe, I feel as though you are greatly overestimating my taste. So my taste in music is, in all honesty, all over the place. It's kind of everywhere, in all honesty. My favourite song is Right Round by Dead or Alive, the one that's like, you spin me right round, baby, right round. My taste in music, in all honesty, is so eclectic. I spent majority of my teenage years listening to the heavier side of music, so System of a Down, A Day to Remember, Trivium, Dillinger Escape Plan, Paramore, Flyleaf I really enjoyed as well. Absolutely love Maximum the Hormone, which I don't even know how to explain Maximum the Hormone, but I also really enjoy pop music and like EDM and all of that. But at the same time, I love like old school Britney Spears and like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. I can just like Kate Miller Heidke, who's who's like an opera pop singer. And recently I was just introduced to Ella Lee, who does Zoot Ani. Absolutely slaps. Oh, and my sister has me really enjoying, granted, I introduced her to K-pop because of Fantastic Baby. It was Fantastic Baby. I got her into it because of Fantastic Baby, because I went Maximum the Hormone to Fantastic Baby on repeat. And 15-year-old JJ, I listened to so much Chill Step and Nightcore. There was one song in Nightcore that I used to go absolutely mental for. It's been like 10 years. Dum Da Dee Do. I was obsessed with this song. Callie is asking if I think I would ever shave my head again because I've rocked it. Thank you so much. And the answer is it depends on the situation. If it was just up to me personally, I don't think I would again, mainly because the grow out was so annoying. I'm not a patient person. And the growing from the shave to this has taken me over 2 years now. And it's just far too long. It's just far too long and I don't like it. But when I say if it isn't up to me, I mean that if one of my loved ones was diagnosed with cancer and they had to go through chemo and they started losing their hair, heck yeah, I would shave my head in solidarity. M83 is wondering why I chose to study chemistry and if I am currently working in my field of study. And this one's a weird one. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. I did chemistry in high school and I really, really like chemistry and I find it fascinating, and it's one of those things that I enjoy to learn about to a certain level because it helps me understand how the world around me works. What I originally wanted to do was stuff that was a lot more on the creative, crafty side of things, but I had too many people around me telling me that the job opportunities from that were going to put me in a very risky financial situation for the rest of my life. So 17, not even really an adult, lots of pressure on me to decide what my future was on the spot. And I chose chemistry because I couldn't see any other option, and I didn't really have many people around me telling me all my options. except that I needed to have a stable job, so I went with chemistry and teaching, and then I eventually dropped the teaching, graduated with just chemistry, so that I still graduated with a degree after all the time that I put into it. And funnily enough, this is my only job now. So I went from wanting to be in a creative field, being told that it's too risky to do, went for something completely different just to be working in the field that I originally wanted to be working in. This is a good question. It's a happy question. I just don't think it's really the answer anyone expects. Because I know that I'm quite like a kind of I'm quite a that person. But me back in 2017, because that's when I started this channel. 4 years, that's wild. I hated my degree. I hated what I was studying. I hated my uni. I saw no future in what I was studying, and I felt like I was spending all this money for this degree to go into a job field where I would never feel complete in my life. So I felt like I was literally working my ass off to find no satisfaction ever in my life. So I felt such a lack of purpose, and my depression was bad, and I had a person in my life that was absolutely suffocating to be around. But I had all this bad stuff going on, and I felt that my life lacked so much purpose, I didn't think I was going to make it. So in fear of that, I made something to give my life purpose, being this channel. So I made sure that I tried to keep on schedule of one video a week where I would teach myself piano, and I would sing a cover, and I would record it, and I would post it, and it didn't matter how many subscribers I got. It didn't matter how many subscribers I got. It didn't matter how many views I got, how many likes, how many comments I got. It didn't matter what response I got, as long as I was making the videos, because the videos themselves gave me purpose. And then slowly but surely, with some help from TikTok and me working on myself and me getting more confident, slowly with me putting in so much work into myself and my relationships and my content and my videos, slowly with that, my battery died. I forget what I was saying. This channel, in all honesty, saved me. You guys saved me. I saved me. I guess what inspired me and keeps consistently inspiring me is hope. That's what I mean by really cool question, really happy, uplifting question, but unfortunately I off camera back in 2017 was a very different person. And I say that both with a lot of thanks that I'm no longer that person, but sadness that I ever was. Ashley Lauren is wondering what 3 short-term goals and 1 long-term goal for me is. So short-term goal is definitely pay off all my debts, because I would really enjoy to be completely debt-free. Just, I don't know, the great dream of being financially stable. Financially stable, is that not sad? Future me here, I hate one of the answers that I've put into this Q&A, because originally I say that I want to post regularly on TikTok again, which, like, but swap that answer out, because what I really want in the short-term goal list is my Rifenstine's monsters. So I said this ages ago in a live stream. I'm in the process of like designing and making them all at the moment. I'm just trying to save up for shipping so that when I do it, no one has to like pay for shipping for it to go to people, because that sounds dumb. So Rifenstine's monsters is essentially, my last name is Rifenstine, called Frankenstein for years. So I thought, okay, how can I do something with that? And I thought what I could do is essentially use Frankenstein's monster as inspiration and make a charity bear, like
collection and make 10 to 15 bears and auction them off, and then all of the profits go to a specific charity that I choose, and if it goes well, then I can do a second series, and I'd be like, okay, what kind of teddy bears do we want? Do we want rabbits? Do we want cats? Do we want foxes? Do we want lions? Do we want porcupines? I don't mind. Let's go. What charity did we want to donate to? So that way I could do a video on me making the bears and packaging the bears and the backstory of the bears, and also discuss the charity and all that kind of stuff. It's something that I've wanted to do for like 2 years, but I'm slowly working towards getting together the however much money I need for postage.
3 is definitely the book that I wrote for and wrote because of my sister. I wrote a novel like back in 2017, and it's all written and it's all there. It's just collecting dust, but I want to save up the money that I can get it properly edited and then approach publishers, because I would just love to be able to hold that hardcover and have that like cute little thing at the front that says to my sister, like have dedication. That's the word. The word is dedication. Have the dedication to my sister and have the hardcover, be able to go to her in what isn't a ring binder and just like have the cover of the book and be like, there you are. There you are, traffic. There you are, bud. And her just lose her absolute mind. If I ever brought that to her, she would be so proud of me, and I think I would die happy. Like, if we're talking like super duper long term, I would love to have a permanent home, whether that's renting wise or like somehow I managed to pay off all my debts and save up the money for a home loan in Sydney. Sydney, why are your housing prices so disgustingly high? But I would love to have a permanent state of home, still be doing this channel, still have all my stuff going for me, but a permanent state of home where I can go out and adopt my dream rescue dog. For like a number of years have wanted to adopt a rescue greyhound. So one of the greyhounds that used to be one of those track dogs that get cast away as soon as they don't make a profit anymore. I would love to be able to adopt one of those dogs and call it Toast. So ultimate goal at the moment is Toast, but as time goes on, I may achieve some of these goals, and then another goal will take its place. But for the moment, those are my goals. Toast is my main one. Albright would like to know what my favourite movies are, and I don't know what specific genre this makes it, but I like any kind of movie where I can't call the plot twist. I study movies and TV shows, not like really on purpose, it's just something that I kind of do, but I like to try and call the plot twists before they happen. So if there's a movie out there where I can't call the plot twist or the plot in its entirety, those are typically the movies that I like the most. So I'm a really big fan of The Prestige, because that I didn't see coming whatsoever. I liked Fight Club because I watched that before I even, like, Fight Club didn't get spoiled for me, so I really enjoyed Fight Club. Sixth Sense also didn't get spoiled for me because I watched it really, really young. Primal Fear is probably my favourite, even though it's a really slow burn movie. Such a good payoff. Coherence is one that I watched recently. I still don't understand Coherence. So any kind of movie, not horror, but any kind of movie where I don't get to... Movies that make me think. On Beta Fish asks, do I play any musical instruments? And the answer is yes. I actually learnt saxophone for about 6.5 years, but once I got braces, I just kind of put it down because it was painful to play. And I never really picked it up again. I taught myself piano for a bit, and I sing well. I'm definitely not a professional, but I won't make your ears bleed. Amy Myers wants to know, what is my favourite hat that I have made so far? Cow. I love this one. Which way is the front? Which way is the back? It's definitely not on properly, but I just love this beret. I don't even know how to put into words how this feels. Literally a few months ago, my premieres, I was lucky to break 47. And then literally last week, I think for the Gabby Hanna video, I hit 600 in one premiere. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong, and I'm so thankful and grateful, but it's absolutely wild. I wasn't expecting it. In all honesty, I thought by this time I would be making a goodbye video, or at least a video explaining that I was going to be having to take a step back. And it turns out that I didn't realize what was just around the corner, and that is that this. So I'm super duper grateful, just absolutely blown away by the love, support, kindness, and generosity of everyone. But to answer some of the other questions, elephants are my favorite animal. That's why I have a tattoo. And I don't really have a favorite meal from Macca's. I more so have a go-to meal because it's the only thing I'm not really allergic to, being a large McChicken meal. But I give the chips to whoever I'm buying with, and I have a Coke Zero with it because I'm allergic to potato. So I just get hot cakes instead, so I get a burger and dessert. Lavender wants to know if I would like any tattoos or piercings, and if I would like to dye my hair, and if so, what colour. More piercings, even though I would want more. I'm not really sure what ones. Definitely some sort of more jewellery in my ear, but I don't really know where. But I also have a lot of scar tissue from other piercings that I've taken out of this ear, so maybe I should hold back on that. And tattoo-wise, I do want more, but I've been sitting on the same idea for about 5 years now. I've wanted a rose tattoo, but the issue is I don't know if I want a single stemmed rose or a cluster of roses, like a bunch of roses. But once you pick one, you can't really get the other. Like if I want a single stem and then I want to change it into a bunch of roses, it'll be a weird little cover up that I have to get done. But if I get a bunch of roses, I definitely can't go back to a single stem. But I also don't know what style I want it done in, and once you get it done in a specific style, it's hard to change it to a different style. As for hair, yes, I want to dye it, but the issue is, once again, I am very indecisive. I have no idea what colour. All I know is I probably do not want to go natural, because it's been quite a while since I've had like an unnatural hair colour in my hair for a substantial amount of time, so definitely unnatural. I just don't know what colour. So I guess let me know down in the comments what colour you want to see my hair dyed, because eventually I will be dyeing it, just once again once Sydney's out of lockdown. Alicia wants to know when and how I started doing makeup and what inspires me. In all honesty, I think I started when I was like maybe 14? I would say 14. I was about 14, and I think I started because of Dolly and Girlfriend magazines. They were a big thing when I was a teenager. If you were one of the it crowd or you wanted to be a part of the it crowd, you got Dolly and Girlfriend magazines. I would just look at that, and I guess I would start playing in makeup, but it was very much like finger painting. I would just be like, oh, what a pretty color, and that was my makeup. Then eventually I found tutorials on YouTube and I followed them, or at least tried to follow them. Makeup wasn't super accessible when I was younger, in all honesty. I'm definitely glad to see that it has grown and evolved, but yeah, back then makeup just wasn't super accessible, so I tried to follow a lot of the tutorials, but I wasn't super great at them. Eventually, when I got older, the industry expanded and stuff. I developed my skills a bit more, taught myself a bit more, bought some of the products as well, so following tutorials was definitely easier to do. And also I just started experimenting and doing what I wanted to do with makeup, because really makeup's whatever you choose. Makeup is whatever you want it to be. It's up to the individual applying it. And inspiration wise, it really just kind of depends on the video and the look itself, because sometimes I just know exactly what I want to do when I want to do it, and I can just go from there. Or maybe I have some sort of a theme that I can start from and work from there. So with the Billie Eilish video, I was like, cool, this is her new style. I want to do old school style. What can I do with that? Definitely some neon greens and some blacks. What shape am I going to go with? So that was really easy to kind of bring together makeup look wise. But then there are some where I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna start filming and see what happens. Then sometimes I'm absolutely lost and I just scroll through Instagram and I find a photo where I'm like, yep, I like that makeup, I want it on my face now. And that's why I introduce some of the videos with like, hey, this is the makeup look I'm going to be doing. It's inspired by this person on Instagram that I think is absolutely fabulous, because they inspired me to do the look. And I don't really see any shame in being like, yep, I had a creative block, but this makeup is absolutely stunning. So we're going to do that. Next question is from, and I hope I'm saying this right, Sian. I'm probably not, and I'm so sorry, but next question is from Sian, and Sian is wondering if I'm going to come out with any more styles of merch. I am not sure if styles means the artwork that is on the merch or if it means the actual cut of the merch. Because I'm going through Teespring, the cut of the merch is kind of already decided. Is my camera just not focusing? Hello, there's my face. Because I'm going through Teespring, the actual physical design, the cut and pattern of the merch is already decided, so there's only so much that I can do. But if there's anything that you feel as though is missing in the collection of patterns, please let me know down in the comments and I will try and accommodate as much as I am able to. But when it comes to the designs, it's either myself that has designed them or my friend Chopper. Chopper is absolutely amazing and is way too kind to me. But it's either Chopper that has done an immaculate job. It's either Chopper or me that designs them. If it's that, I've drawn these things over the last week in my boredom. So they will probably, once I tweak them a teeny bit, they will probably pop up on design soon. I'm not gonna lie, I'm so used to writing up good notes for my videos that I didn't even write up notes for this video. I literally just put up the question and I am rambling. So I don't even know if the answers I have for these questions are even any good. Yeah, I'm starting to get a bit self-conscious. Emmy Rose wants to know what my favorite kind of aesthetic is, and in all honesty, I don't know. I think all of them. For a really weird answer, I would definitely not classify myself as having an aesthetic. But I love seeing all of the different aesthetics, and I love seeing the people and the creators who have these aesthetics and they are in it. They are 110% committed to the aesthetics. I love all of them because of the craft and dedication behind it. Because being 100% committed to an aesthetic, that ain't easy. Brittany wants to know if there's anything that I just particularly love about this job, and in all honesty, it's the premiere chat. Every single one of my videos, I premiere it, which just means that as it goes live on YouTube, there is a live chat happening. So we get to watch it together. I get to watch it with you guys, and yes, it is me in the premiere chat. I've done it since I started YouTube, essentially, or since YouTube allowed me to do it. I have premiered the videos because I want to get to know the people that support me. I want to get to know the people that watch my videos, that like my videos, that comment on my videos. I want to get to know you all. And one of the best ways that I can do that is the premiere chat, because you don't have to be talking about the video. You don't have to be complimenting me. You don't have to do anything. There's a bunch of people who are some of my OGs, a bunch of people who talk about going on a Macca's run and who gets to control the radio and who gets to drive and who gets to be in the passenger seat and who gets to ride on the roof and what we're all getting from Macca's. Like, it doesn't have to be about the video itself, but it can just be about like what everyone's going through, and when something good happens, we congratulate someone. When something bad happens, they can message in and we can all like give our love and support to them. And it's that sense of community that keeps me going at times, and it's what I look forward to the most. I fear that Katie's going to be upset with me because I don't really listen to podcasts. I don't know what it is, but I need to see where the words are coming from for me to be able to like soak up all of the information. As for favorite TV shows and genres, I grew up with a lot of Buffy. I grew up with a lot of sci-fi and Whedonverse stuff. So I grew up watching Buffy, Angel, Firefly, the eventual movie Serenity. I watched Farscape, which I feel as though not a lot of people are going to know that one. If you have heard of Farscape, please let me know down in the comments, because every time I say it to someone, they're like, what's Farscape? And I'm like, so sci-fi is definitely one that I definitely keep going back to. I've recently gotten into not adult cartoons, but like adultier cartoonish kind of stuff. So BoJack Horseman, I really, really enjoy. Bipanic wants to know if I'm left or right-handed. The answer is right-handed. And Bipanic also wants to know what are my favorite animals in a list of favoritism, and it really goes elephants, flamingos, all of the other animals in the world. I love elephants in general, and I loved them before I found this out, but apparently elephants look at humans the way that humans look at puppies. I love that. And then flamingos, I find it fascinating that flamingos get more pink the more shrimp they eat. So if you see a flamingo that isn't as pink, it just means that they haven't eaten as much shrimp. I find that absolutely fascinating. There is so much in the animal insect world that is just absolutely fascinating to me, which is why number 3 is all of the other animals, because there's so many different bits and pieces of interesting facts that are just absolutely wild to me. In all honesty, if you have any animal fun facts, I would lose my absolute mind reading them all in the comments. I feel as though Gaming with Mandy is going to be super disappointed with my answer to this question, because in all honesty, I don't have balance between my social media and my mental health. It's not for a lack of trying, because I do go to therapy as much as I am able to. I also have done personal training sessions for 2 sessions a week for years now. Oh, okay, so I guess if PT counts as a hobby, there's an answer for before. To keep me healthy, keep me going, keep me motivated. So I've done PT for years. Therapy is something that I just got back into, which is really, really good. But I do that. So there is that, but it's definitely not enough with how much I don't do for myself in the way of fun off camera. Miss Cheldoff wants to know what my favorite kind of cheese is after all of the referencing to my Swiss cheese brain, and the answer is brie cheese. I do really like halloumi. Halloumi slaps, but brie cheese, if you mix that with some quince paste, which is like that plum paste, like, is fancy and is bougie but tastes so good. I don't know what it is about that. It is probably the fanciest thing that I eat every 2 years, but also baked brie. Oh! Baked brie slaps. Noelle would like to know what my favorite TV show was as a child. If we're talking typical TV show for a child, it would probably be Cheese TV. I don't know if it's typically an Australian thing, because I know that a lot of my audience is American, but Cheese TV was hosted by these 2 guys that were best friends. I have no idea what their names were. I started watching it when I was like 5, and it ended when I was like 8, but I loved it growing up. It was hosted by these 2 guys, and they would have fun little antics, and they would introduce other TV shows within that TV show. So it was like an umbrella show that would introduce other shows, and the other shows that it had would be Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Digimon, Sailor Moon, all that kind of fun stuff. So I like that show as a whole, because it meant that I got to watch all my other favorite TV shows. But if it's not a typical kids show, then definitely Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I was obsessed with that as a kid. I loved Buffy. I loved all of the characters, and even now I still watch it, the whole entire series again, every 2 years. Did it shape me growing up? The show is pretty twisted. And so am I, so I guess, yeah. Sinister Kid wants to know what my favorite video I've ever uploaded is, and that's a really hard question, in all honesty, because I've uploaded a lot of different videos, a lot of different topics, a lot of different genres, a lot of different things that I've made, not even just makeup looks, like outfits and everything. There's a lot that I've done over the 4 and a bit years. I'd probably have to say the dartboard makeup, or any video that involves my brother. He's an absolute delight to make videos with, and he's on a similar wavelength to me, and yeah, it's always so much fun doing any kind of video with him. And like, the big nails that I did on him were absolutely hilarious. The Ariana Grande Halloween thing that we did was absolutely hilarious. The drag makeup, absolutely hilarious. The first time I put him in makeup, that was incredible. Any video I do with my brother is an absolute privilege and an absolute delight, and I have so much love and appreciation for him. Any of those, or the dartboard makeup. The dartboard makeup was so much fun to film. I got to film it with my old roommates. The makeup didn't turn out the best because I didn't think through the board system enough, but the filming of the video was so much fun. The people that I was filming it with was so much fun to film with, but also the actual editing of the video, I'm still so proud of. Once again, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be saying this name right, because I can't tell if it's caged or something else, but I'm going to go with Caged with a K. Caged by Design is wondering what first makeup product I ever used was. I'm pretty sure the first makeup product that I ever used was JJ's Eye Shimmer. I have regrets. If it wasn't the JJ's Eye Shimmer, it was definitely this Maybelline Mousse Foundation, which, if you ever wanted your skin to look dry and thirsty, you use that product. That mousse was an absolute abomination. So is the eye shimmer. Both were an absolute abomination. I despise their existence. Zach, not Kyle, whose name I really wish I understood the context to, is wondering who the first YouTuber I ever enjoyed, loved was. And I'm pretty sure it was xoxo, who is a beauty guru from New Zealand. I found her videos when I was like 14-ish, and I consistently watch them, and I even still go back to this day and watch a few of her things. She still seems so sweet, but she seems so sweet and seems to be in it for the love of the makeup, and has been doing it since like YouTube was kind of around. Like as soon as YouTube started, she just seemed to be here. So I followed her for quite a long time actually. Fatima is wondering what I do when I have a chronic illness flare up. I didn't ever think that endometriosis, adenomyosis, and scoliosis were like a chronic illness, but I guess they're an illness that won't go away. So yeah, they would by definition be a chronic illness. And I do have flare-ups with them sometimes, and I call them pain episodes because, well, I originally called them stabby pains because I was 12 when I started getting them, but I have these really horrific pain episodes, which are my flare-ups, I guess. There's not much I can really do. So I either, with a lot of stubbornness and determination, depending on the pain episodes, like aggressiveness, I'll either just power through it, but it does come with a lot of risks because I've been known to pass out because of the pain episodes. If I'm in a position where I don't have to force myself through it, 2 Panadol, 2 ibuprofen, a burger or a burrito, and then probably some chocolate and sleep it off. It's really all I can do is just to smash painkillers, smash some really dense food, and sleep until I wake up. I definitely don't have a healthy mental relationship with my pain episodes, so definitely don't use any advice that I have when it comes to chronic illness. Not that any of this was advice, but I definitely wouldn't follow my way of coping. Fanny wants to know what hat I will be making next, and if I will be making any hat merch. Next hat, I want to make either the Swiss cheese hat that everyone is requesting, or the lavender cow hat, because I'm really excited to see how the lavender cow hat comes to be. And merch wise, I started making the hats just for my own enjoyment. I didn't realize that they would be this popular, which is great, don't get me wrong, but I didn't plan ahead for the possibilities of merch, and there's a lot of things that come into making merch that is produced by you, because I don't really want to be paying for a manufacturer to make the hats and then me sell them or whatever. I'd rather do them in like an Etsy shop kind of way, but there's a lot of things that go into that, so I would have to do a lot of planning. Also, it comes down to what design would I do and how many of the designs would I do, and would I do different sizings, or would I do it a certain way where it's adjustable. There's a lot of different things that I would have to do to be able to make that a reality. It's not to say no, it's just to say I don't know. One thing that I could possibly do, which I feel as though would be a lot more fun, but it would definitely have to be a first in best dressed kind of situation, which would be eventually my hat collection is going to become too big. So maybe when I cut down on the hat collection, I just sell off those specific hats. Like when I cleanse my collection a bit, I sell those hats, if that makes sense. Once again, I apologize if I say this name incorrectly because I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to, but Agan is wondering what celebrities' makeup I would love to do and what makeup artist I would love to do my makeup. So, celebrity, if I got free reign, if I got to choose whatever kind of makeup I wanted to do, I would definitely do Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk is one of those actors that just pops up randomly into films that I didn't even see coming into the films to begin with, and I am always delighted by the character. He was in Moana. He played the chicken. He got paid to voice act the chicken. I love that. He was in Knight's Tale. He was one of the backup dudes. He was in Serenity and Firefly as Washbourne. Grown up watching him, really like his characters. So I would really enjoy to do makeup on him. Absolute free reign though. And then makeup artist wise, I am torn because I would either want Nikki Tutorials because I would like, it's Nikki tutorials. Nikki to me just seems so genuine, so sweet, so lovely, that I would just love to be around that level of poise, elegance, intelligence as well, because Nikki knows her shit. I would love to learn from her as she did stuff. That would be one thing that I would absolutely love to do. Yeah, either Nikki or Crystal Method. It'd be the point A to point B transformation for me. I would just want to be able to go in there, barefaced, not see anything that is going on. No mirror around me, not being able to look at the products that are being used, just dead straight ahead, go in with my face looking bare or whatever, and then turn around into a mirror and see what I've become. Then, yee yee! I love the name. I don't know how it works specifically with the capitalization, but whatever, I'm going with yee yee! Yee yee wants to know. Yee yee wants to know if I have any tips or tricks for someone who is just starting out with makeup, or life tips in general. I've said this so many times in so many different videos, and I've preached it so many times in so many different videos and to people in general, and I will keep preaching it till the day I die. But when starting makeup, it is very important to invest in a good set of brushes. Brushes will make or break a look. I've said this before, you could be a carpenter with the most beautiful slab of wood that has ever existed. But if all you have is a set of rusty nails, rusty hammers and tools, you're still gonna make trash. And it's just so much easier to learn and evolve and keep going when you have a good set of brushes. Because if you're, I literally, like, I know I'm not supposed to keep these brushes like too long, but I've had most of these brushes for like 2 years now. They're still going. Life advice wise, I've definitely lived through my fair amount of shit. I've definitely had my good moments, but I've definitely lived through my fair amount of bad moments. And I've had to make some really hard decisions in my life. The way that I make them, which is really the only life advice I can give, but just because it works for me isn't really what will work for everyone. But the way that I make them, at least, is in 10 years, when I look back at this moment, am I going to regret not choosing A or not choosing B? Whichever one I would regret not choosing more, that's the one that I choose. So if somehow in 10 years I'm looking back at a moment and it's me deciding whether I pick vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream, if I think in 10 years time I would regret not choosing the vanilla ice cream more, I would choose vanilla ice cream in that moment. If I think that when I look back in 10 years, I will regret not choosing the chocolate ice cream more, I choose the chocolate ice cream. Because I don't want to ever look back in 10 years' time and think to myself, wow, what could have been? Unamused and Confused wants to know what my favorite topics are to research. This answer's gonna sound so weird, but it's in all honesty the truth. I learned second day of uni something that I have carried with me for years. I learnt that there is good confusion and there's bad confusion. Good confusion is just when the brain is making pathways of concrete understanding and learning that can go towards further concrete understanding and learning. So good confusion just means that you are going to have information that you will retain for years. When I research topics and I get good confusion, if anything, it fuels me more to keep researching and to keep learning, because I know that this information is going to stick. The video that I had quite recently that I had this the most was actually the Pride video that I did. Once again, another name that I hope that I'm saying correctly, and if I'm not, I am so sorry, but Pranjal is wondering how I have coped with the pandemic and the lockdowns, and also what Halloween outfit I would want to do. So lockdown wise, Sydney is back in another lockdown. We were doing so well, but then Bondi screwed it up. Thanks, guys. Pandemic wise, I'm doing fine. I'm doing a lot better than a lot of people. Financially, I was kind of screwed for a bit, but I think I've gotten myself back on top of it, which is great. Halloween costume wise, there was a few videos that I wanted to do last year for around Halloween, but I just didn't have the finances to do it, and I didn't really have the time to do it. But either way, the few videos that I wanted to do around Halloween, one of them was to make a sexy Slenderman outfit. That is still on my list of things to do eventually before I die. It's still a bucket list for me. So sexy Slenderman is definitely a Halloween outfit that I want to do. Troy has asked, Burb? I am not Burb. Don't own Burb. but definitely want burb. Nate is wondering if there are any gaps in the makeup industry that I can see that I think should be filled. And in all honesty, I love the makeup industry. I think it's absolutely fabulous, and I love being a consumer of the makeup industry. But I think we're at a point with the makeup industry that it would take an absolute creative genius to be able to fill a void that exists, because the makeup industry is so oversaturated with products and looks and just everything. Don't get me wrong, I love the makeup industry and I love the creativity within the makeup industry, and I don't want anyone to stop striving for the next big thing and just striving for creativity and authenticity and just something new. I don't want people to stop doing that, but I don't think the focus should be so much on what the next big thing is, but more so on the flaws that we have within the makeup industry, because we still have so many issues when it comes to inclusivity and it comes to accessibility and environmentally friendly makeup products. We have so many issues with the products that we already have. So I think a lot of focus should be done on how to improve what we already have, so that when we grow further, we already have a solid, concrete foundation that involves everyone who loves makeup. Because if you love makeup, I don't see a single reason you should miss out. Doesn't matter who you are. If you love makeup, you shouldn't have to miss out. And if there are people, not if, and the people that are missing out who love makeup and want to be a part of the industry and want to be a part of the community and everything, they shouldn't be missing out anymore, and we should figure out a way to fix that. So yes, make new products. Yes, look for the next big thing, but figure out how to fix the people that are missing out on all the fun, because no one should deserve to miss out on all the fun. Paola wants to know, if I could have any superpower in the world, what would it be? And if I had all the money in the world, what would I buy first? Superpower. Easy. Power to manipulate probability. I don't know who said this first. I saw it somewhere and I was like, heck yeah, I want that. Power to manipulate probability essentially means that any superpower is possible for you. Go and buy a lotto ticket, make sure that the probability is at 100%, you win the lotto. And then you can also twist the luck of everyone else as well. What's the probability that my biggest enemy in the world is going to trip on their face? Not get badly hurt, but just have a minor inconveniencing like trip and hit their face. 100%. And in all honesty, if I came into all of the money in the world, I would be selfish at first, and I would achieve my lifetime goal, get some sort of permanent housing together, and I would adopt Toast. Emily Rose is asking when the next History of the Beauty Community will be out. So I'm actually in the process of researching it. After the last video, I had to tap out for quite a lot longer than I anticipated, but I had to tap out because I was just so emotionally drained and exhausted. But I'm in the process of researching, so it's either going to be out, depending on how much research I have to put into this one, I think it's going to be less than part 2, so it'll either be out this week or next week. Within 14 days, the video will be out, and I'm so sorry that so many people have had to wait so long for part 3. So Dan is asking if I would ever consider selling the Marge Simpson mirrors, and the answer is I would absolutely freaking love to. It would be an absolute dream of mine to sell them, but the issue is copyright. I highly doubt Disney is going to be giving the copyright for the Marge Simpson mirror to me. Amy is wondering if I can touch the tip of my tongue to the tip of my nose, and the answer is nope. not at all. I've tried, but no, nothing. Cleo is wondering if JJ is an abbreviation for anything, or if that is legitimately my first name. The answer is no. My first name is actually Janet. Yeah, I hate it too. Friends have gone through Janet to Jan to then JJ. It's literally how it started. Just Jan, and then eventually JJ, and yeah, that's how I got here. It's really not an exciting story. I'm so sorry. Amy is wondering what my least favorite hat is. Tana is wondering what kind of friend I see myself as. In all honesty, the one that you have to tempt out of their cave with promises of cookies and coffee. Another name that I'm not quite sure how to pronounce, and I'm so sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but Fite or Fighty is wondering if I have another job. This is actually my only job, is in like social media as a whole. Social media creator, content creator is my only job. So the red carpets that you've seen me on have been through social media. They've been through Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. Last year I was a supervisor of a bar, and I was a barstress because of that as well, but I quit that for lots of different reasons. So I was a supervisor of a bar last year, and last year and this year I have also been a waitress at a pizza place. So I guess kind of the opposite to what this question seems to be expecting. By the looks of it, the question is expecting me to have this like famous job, but in all honesty, I have hospitality jobs. I find it really fun and entertaining that on a Wednesday night I'll be at a red carpet event, and then on a Thursday night I'm serving a table and wondering if they want their supreme pizza in a small, medium, or large, and if they want anchovies on their small, medium, or large supreme pizza. Then lucky last, Zero Insignificance asks, what is your dinosaur? I don't own a dinosaur. I would love to, but my favorite dinosaur would be the Brontosaurus that I recently found out was reclassified as a dinosaur. The Brontosauri is the Pluto of the dinosaur world. It makes me so happy. I'm going to try my hardest to give some sort of a tutorial, but I will be honest, I saw one brief little pattern, was like, oh, it's 2 circles, let's go, and I kind of went from there. So all I really did was I got felt because it's really easy to work with, and you can hot glue felt, which makes your life a lot easier. But first thing you need to do is measure the circumference of your head. My circumference is about 23 inches, 59 centimeters. Once you have the circumference, you can chuck it into this formula and you can get the diameter and the radius. Make your inner circle the measurement of your head, and then make the next circle the measurement of how big you want the hat to be. Between my head to the outside of the hat, I apparently chose about 2 inches, but I think I want it to be a bit bigger for my next one, so I will be increasing the size for that. Either way, so all you gotta do is literally get 2 pieces of felt. We're gonna cut a circle. I'm just gonna, yes, I am freehanding this because I literally don't know what I'm gonna be putting this on. And then from there, just cut an inside hole. Typically I would sew this part, but for easiness' sake, I'm just gonna hot glue it. So then literally just seal your 2 circles together. Boom. Felt hot glues, it's one of my favorite things. Then all you gotta do is flip it inside out. And as I said before, felt hot glues, which is how I managed to attach the spots to the cow beret and also attach the ears. I wish that it could be a more in-depth tutorial, but literally all I do is cut out 2 circles, stitch them together, and glue some fun things to it. I don't really know how to go more in depth than I already have. But that's all the questions and answers, including the hat beret tutorial as well. Thank you so much to everyone who's asked questions, to everyone that watches the video, likes the video, comments on the video, to everyone in the live chat premiere as well. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope that I have answered all of your questions, and if you have any more, let me know in the comments, and you never know, I may do another one soon and answer those as well. But please let me know what you also want me to talk about, because I know what I want me to talk about, but I don't know what you want me to talk about unless you comment, because I know what Swiss cheese brain holes exist inside my noggin, but you may know of one that I don't even know about yet. And if there is a Swiss cheese brain hole that I haven't found yet that you know the answer to, please elaborate, let me know. But while you're commenting all of that, please also let me know what you think of my face. I'm stunning. I feel like I should be in Christina Aguilera's music video. Sweet candy man, say what sweet a candy man. Just wait for it. Like this is some old school like. Ooh! I look so good. I look so good. I'm losing my mind. I look so good. I'm losing my mind. The longer you look at my face, the better it gets. Ow, just fight me right now. You wouldn't dare. You'd lose. I'm invincible. I'm unstoppable. Oh! Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to everyone who commented on the community post, which meant that I could make this video. And don't worry, I realized that my phrasing of, hi, how is everyone? I'm putting a poll underneath. Not made. Not my smartest move, but thank you so much for thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for commenting on the community post. Thank you so much for being in the live chat, and thank you so much for liking and commenting on the video and just all of that, and just thank you for making all of my days brighter and giving me something to look forward to in every single one of my days and every single one of my weeks. And because of that, I hope that you are having the most fantastic day, fantastic week, fantastic month, fantastic year, and I hope that you are doing as fantastic as always. Bye everyone.